I bet you've never made sourdough like this before. Sourdough is versatile. It doesn't have to be this plain bread with a sour taste. It can be something sweet, something citrusy, or something savory. It all depends what you put in it. Today we're doing a cranberry orange sourdough focaccia. Follow me. Let's start it. We're gonna add our orange juice into a bowl, immediately following up with our sourdough starter, and give it a nice little stir just to make sure it gets nice and dissolved. And we're gonna need a little salt in there just to help the bread rise and develop, and sugar for sweetness. I personally like a dark brown sugar. It has a richer flavor, darker flavor. It's better. Alternatively, you could use white sugar. It just won't taste that good. Next, we're going to follow it up with some bread flour. I like King Arthur's. It's a very good, consistent, strong protein bread flour that has always yielded amazing results for me. Next, we're going to want to mix this up with a spoon. Followed by using our hand to do a squeeze and twist. We're going to want to do this for about 3 minutes, making sure the ingredients bind together and get evenly distributed. We're going to follow this up with about a 30 minutes rest, just so we can let the flour absorb all that moisture and evenly incorporate. While we're doing that, we're not going to sit still. We're going to measure out our cranberries and slice them in half. This is, I underestimated how much of a tedious process slicing each individual cranberry is in half. You could use a food processor. I prefer not to. When we do our first set of stretch and folds, we're going to add in some cranberries, fold a little bit, add more cranberries, and repeat. Get all those cranberries in there. Then we're going to let it rest for 30 minutes, do another set of stretch and fold, another 30 minutes, and another set of stretch and folds. We're not doing as much shaping or structure building since this is not going to be a huge, big rise kind of bread. It's going to be slightly thick and spread out. It's going to be a focaccia. Now 30 minutes has passed. We're going to hit it with another stretch and fold. Again, we're just trying to mix up the cranberries, make sure they're evenly incorporated, and develop a little bit of gluten, get that nice structure. We don't care about a huge rise on this bread. We just want the structure. Now, we're going to wait 30 minutes again, and a final set of stretch and folds. You want to make sure you're lifting up high and slowly folding over. Now, after 30 minutes has passed, we're going to take a somewhat of a deep, square sheet pan. I prefer Pyrex. And we're going to oil it up, make sure our bread doesn't stick. And we're going to scoop all of our dough out and lay it flat. We're going to want to wait about 30 minutes for the bread to relax. In the meantime, take a half stick of butter, dice it up, toss it with some brown sugar. When we're making our topping, it's important to make sure our butter and sugar are evenly incorporated. So we're going to want to make sure we're really massaging it, really mixing it up. And give a nice heavy dusting of cinnamon onto the bread. We're then going to take our brown sugar and butter mix, crumble it up, and spread it all over our dough, making sure we hit most of that dough with the butter. Because when it's going to melt, it's going to caramelize, and it's going to leave a nice, sweet coating on top of it. Now, you can always add more sugar or more butter. I personally did it like this. Your taste may vary. If you want to add some nutmeg or some other spices on top, by all means, go for it. You could also take some white chocolate, melt it, and give it a nice drizzle after you pull it out of the oven. That would be a good topping too. Now, we're going to want to take this and throw it into our oven preheated at 400 degrees for about 30 minutes. You could let it go more, it will get crispier. It shouldn't dry out that much since we are using a high hydration dough. And at the end of the day, cooking and baking, while they are a science, you can do it up to your own preference. If you see a good recipe, but you want to change the spices, by all means, change the spices. Experiment, have fun with it. And enjoy more B-roll. I will see you guys next time.